All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most talked about technologies out there, blockchain. But here's the deal. We're skipping all the hype and the buzzwords. We're getting right into the core logic of how this thing actually works, why it's so secure, and what's really happening under the hood every single time a transaction is made. Ready? Let's get to it. And there's a really good reason for that. Because before we can even begin to talk about things like crypto or digital assets, you have to understand the foundation they're all built on. Seriously, think of blockchain as the engine that powers this whole new world of digital trust.
So, what is a blockchain at its very heart? For just a minute, I want you to forget all the complex code and the jargon. The absolute best way to get it is with a super simple but really powerful analogy. Just picture a global shared notebook.
Now, really think about that for a second. This isn't just one person's private diary locked away somewhere. No, it's a public record, and it's duplicated and distributed across this massive network of computers all over the world. What that means is that everyone, and I mean everyone, is holding the exact same version of the truth, and it's all synchronized in real time.
And that right there brings us to the more formal definition. That shared notebook, that's the blockchain. It's transparent because anyone on the network can see it. It's decentralized because no single person or company owns or controls it. And here's the real game changer. It allows us to trust the record without needing a middleman, like a bank or a government.
So you're probably wondering, how is it so tamper-proof? Well, let's say some hacker tries to go back and change an old entry in the notebook. Maybe change who owns what. Instantly, the thousands of other copies all over the network cross-reference that change. They see it doesn't match their version, and boom, they automatically reject it. The sheer scale of the network makes cheating basically impossible. Okay, to make this all crystal clear, let's follow the entire journey of one single transaction from start to finish. Let's imagine we're sending 1 Bitcoin to our friend, Ali. We're going to watch every single step this transaction takes. So the second I hit send in my wallet, a digital message gets created. It's got the essentials, right? My address, Ali's address, the amount. But the most important part, the absolute key, is the digital signature. Using my unique private key, which is something only I have, my wallet creates this unforgeable mathematical proof that says, yes, I am the true owner of this Bitcoin and I approve this payment. As soon as it's signed, that message is broadcast out to the entire network. You can think of it like shouting an announcement into a massive crowded room. Every computer, or node, on the network hears it. They all grab it and place it into this temporary holding area called the mempool. It's basically a digital waiting room for transactions that are waiting to be confirmed. Now, here's where things get really cool. An automated audit starts to happen. Every single node on the network independently runs through this little checklist. They ask, does this person actually have 1 Bitcoin to send? Is the math on their signature correct? Are they trying to spend a Bitcoin that they've already spent? This is trust being built with pure cryptography. It's an automated audit happening all at once across the globe with 0 humans involved. Okay, so our transaction has passed the initial test. It's been verified. So what happens next? Well, it's ready to be packaged into what's called a block. So before we see that happen, let's just pause our journey for a second and zoom in on the anatomy of one of these digital pages. There are these specialized computers on the network. You might know them as miners or validators, and what they do is scoop up hundreds of these already verified transactions from that mempool waiting room. They bundle them all together to form a new potential block. Think of it as the next page that's about to be added to our global notebook. Now, every block has 2 main parts. The first is the header. You can think of it as the block's brain or maybe its fingerprint. It's got all this critical metadata, a timestamp showing exactly when it was created, a random number called a nonce that's super important for the mining puzzle, and, this is absolutely crucial, a cryptographic link to the block that came right before it. And it also has something called a Merkle root. So what on earth is a Merkle root? Well, think of it like this. It's like a summary of an entire book's contents, but it's printed right on the cover. Instead of listing every single transaction in the header, which would be huge, the system cleverly summarizes all of them into one single unique fingerprint. That one little hash represents every single transaction inside the block. If even one tiny comma in one transaction changes, this whole fingerprint changes. It's a brilliant and super efficient security feature. The second part of the block is way simpler. It's the body. And this is just what it sounds like. It's the actual list of all the transactions that were picked up from the mempool. And right there in that list, alongside hundreds of others, is our transaction to send 1 Bitcoin to Ali. So we've got a brand new block, it's packed with verified transactions, but it's not part of the official record just yet. First, the entire network has to come to an agreement on its validity. So let's see how that global agreement actually happens, and how it forges this unbreakable chain.
This process of everyone reaching an agreement is called consensus, and you can really think of it as the democratic heart of the blockchain. It's a mechanism that allows a leaderless group to agree on a single version of the truth, and there are a couple of really popular ways that networks do this. The two big ones are proof of work and proof of stake. In proof of work, which is what Bitcoin uses, miners use massive amounts of computing power to race to solve this really complex math puzzle. The winner proves they did the work and earns the right to add the next block. In proof of stake, it's different. Validators don't compete with raw power. Instead, they lock up their own coins as collateral, a stake, for a chance to be randomly chosen to validate the block. Now, in both systems, the goal is exactly the same: make cheating so ridiculously expensive that it's just way more profitable, to be honest. Once consensus is finally reached, that new block is officially added. And this right here is the chain part of blockchain. The hash, that unique fingerprint, of the block before it, gets baked right into the header of the new block. This creates a direct cryptographic link, forming a chain of blocks that stretches all the way back to the very first one ever created. And this is what makes the whole system so incredibly secure. Just imagine a hacker tries to alter data in an old block. Well, its unique hash would instantly change. That would snap the cryptographic link to the next block, which would cause its hash to change, and so on, creating this massive cascade of broken links all the way down the chain. The entire network would immediately spot this inconsistency and just reject that fraudulent version. It's security through a digital chain reaction. Okay, so our block has been successfully validated and added to the chain. Let's bring our transactions journey to a close and see why this whole intricate process really matters. The moment our block is added to that chain, our transaction to Ali gets its very first confirmation. It is now officially part of the permanent, unchangeable record. Over in his wallet, Ali can now actually see that Bitcoin arriving. But wait, it gets even more secure. As new blocks get built on top of ours, our transaction gets buried deeper and deeper inside the chain. Each one of those new blocks is another confirmation. For something like Bitcoin, after 6 confirmations, that transaction is considered absolutely irreversible. I mean, to go back and change something buried that deep would require a truly astronomical amount of computing power. We're talking practically impossible. So let's tie all of this to a simple, real-world example. When you buy something online with crypto, this is exactly what's happening behind the scenes. Your payment is created and signed. The network does its thing. It verifies, packs, and adds it to the chain. The merchant's order is confirmed and they get paid, often in just a few minutes. But here's the most important part. Not once did we need a bank, a credit card company, or any central authority to approve or process any of it. And that really is the whole point. From a simple shared digital notebook to a secure global chain, what we've just walked through is a brand new tool for humanity, a way for total strangers to agree on the truth without needing to trust each other at all. They only need to trust the code. So now that you understand the logic, the only question left is, what are we going to build with it?